lose their hours or be terminated chose to go other places prior to this happening. Which was fine because it's going to lower the unemployment costs and so forth that have to be paid. So
I think, and this is a suggestion to everybody, I think what needs to occur is from top to bottom, and I know this is not going to be something that happens overnight, but from top to bottom, all costs need to be looked at.
that's what we had talked about on the phone yesterday.
And that probably is a function of the budget committee. But look at any contracts you have, all aspects. And look at the usage. As I have said, I've told the newspaper, I've told everybody, we should be efficient, and we shouldn't have. I know it's a very fine line to have to try and determine just how many crews you need at a specific time. But if you look, you can determine, and the ultimate goal would be getting to the point where we provide the coverage needed, but not a man more, not an hour more. I mean, like I said, I know that's, and I know that circumstances dictate you have to have capability, but the example that I like to use is, if you all remember, and I may have mentioned this to the previous board, if you all remember the accident down on I-77 down in North Carolina, where there was 50 or 60 car pilot. Here in Doddridge County, who knows how much it would cost, but we could have, an ambulance authority that would be capable of handling that. But the question is, why? That's what I'm saying. Try and find that line where we're covered, but we're not excessive.
Okay, to pull together what Greg's saying, I'd like the board of directors to consider requesting Mr. Flynn to go to the next county commission meeting that he could get to and get on the agenda, and ask the county commission what their pleasure is concerning reimbursement from the ambulance authority, seeing as how the ambulance authority is funded largely by the county commission, and if the past practice has been an amount of $100,000 to $120,000 that the ambulance authority reimburses the county commission, is that the continuing desire and pleasure of the county commission? So that's what I'm recommending that the committee, the board of directors, ask Mr. Flynn to do, and in conjunction with that request, when he goes to the county commission, that he requests that the county commission fund a study, whether that be a study by an individual or a study by a group that's qualified to look at emergency services in a county, and if the county commission fund a study to look at what the real needs are in the county, to approach what Mr. Robbins is saying here. We need to say what's reasonable, what's efficient in this county compared to Lewis County, Gilmer County, other counties of similar size. What are they doing? How much ambulance service are they providing? And then we can, once we have that study completed, then we can come back and say, this is what we need to do in Doddridge County. And if the county commission says, yes, it's our desire that you reimburse us as you have customarily in the past, so that the budget cut is a true budget cut. If that's their will and pleasure, then we need to know that, and then as a board, we need to work to accomplish that. If we can, then we go back to them and say, we would like to reimburse you $100,000, but it's impossible. Would you allow us to have this extra money? But I think we need to ask Mr. Flynn, go to them and say, what's your will and pleasure concerning reimbursement from them? Then let the entire county commission make that decision. And then that'll give us some guidance as the board of directors of the ambulance authority, and also to request that they provide a study of necessary ambulance services for our county. That's my motion.
You made that to a motion. Any discussion?
Well, yes, I can partially answer your question. During the county commission budget process, the figure, well, let me back up. During the county commission budget process, we get budget requests from every department. And Beth puts together a proposal that includes what they have requested. Each department, each authority or park board, whatever. And if I recall right, on our budget process, it included the 126.5. And during the process, I think I probably suggested that we lower that to 100,000. And that was what I intended to see as the reimbursement from the ambulance authority. Now, we can check. I don't have it here.
Yeah, that's
with
what,
me.
I appreciate the answer, but I would still make that motion that Mr. Flynn asked for a clarification from the entire county commission. I appreciate it.
I don't think can the commission actually request funding from an agency that is their agency. Because I think we do it as a donation. So for me to ask them to set a fee that they want us to pay, I don't think I can do that.
That's not the way the budget was set up. And this occurred, in my understanding, this occurred in the year before during the budget process. Butch made a comment about the amount that the ambulance authority was reimbursing, and Shirley said, I agree, I think they can contribute more. Is that not right?
It's on video.
So it was a part of the budget year that we are just completing right now. And it was intended to be in the budget for the coming year. I'm sorry that I don't have it here with me, but I feel pretty certain that it is. But that was what was expected.
Yeah, we would only be asking Mr. Flynn not to ask you to tell us what we have to do, but to ask you for clarification of your intent. And then
That would
back
be in
to
the
us,
budget.
and we can, as a board, decide what we want to try to do.
I second that motion.
May I ask another question? Wouldn't that already be on the paperwork that's you've done for your budget for next year? It's already there.
Yeah, I'm just asking for clarification, and
We can get that.
and asking that we request that there be a study set up. It doesn't have to be done next month, but at some point in time, I think we need to start looking at what our county should be doing.
I think Mr. Robinson had already scheduled or was looking into a person to do that. Was that not?
Well, what we haven't been able to make This particular individual is a very busy person, and we haven't been able to schedule anything yet. I wasn't really pushing because I want to give you all a chance to get your feet wet and get your feet on the ground, and so that immediately somebody wouldn't be coming in and sitting down and talking with you all, and you feeling that, here I am, just getting started, and I need all this information.
Yeah, it looks like Mr. said, this would be an education
Right.
for us and for the county commission
Right.
and for the emergency services in this county.
Right.
It'd be an education for all of us. It would be an opportunity for all of us to sit down and look together at what we can do as a county.
Yeah, because I really think we all need to work together,
Yeah,
do
sure.
what's best for everybody. And, I think when it comes to looking at approving a budget, if there's something that we need to owe back, we need to know that before we make that final improvement versus make a bunch of revisions. I think it would just be very beneficial to know all of this information up front so that we can just keep going forward.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, a second. Vote. All those in favor? And those opposed? Okay, the motion carries.
Okay, but if we can't work together, if we just might as well go home.
Well, we're all working together fine.
That's fine. I say if we keep that up, if we can't work together, if we can't, get nothing done.
Randy, another clarification on the
I
cost
don't know.
savings I had, it's on the cell phones, you said you had 6 or 7, went to 2.
Yes.
Who had those before and who
They
has
was,
2 now?
they was in each truck, and they was set there for them to use if they would need to call someone from the truck, and also for telemetry to send their 12 leads or EKGs into the hospitals. The state was going to try to require that, but they backed off of it. And we got rid of the cell phones a long time ago. The only 2 that exist now is the transport phone line, which we can shut off, but it's only like $10 or $12 is a minimal cost of that. And then my cell phone that I have for the company for business transactions.
So you need one, yeah.
Those are the 2 that exist right now.
Well, I would like to make a motion to table the 2013 and 2014 budget until we gather some information from the county commission so we can discuss it at maybe the next meeting.
I second the motion.
Any discussion? We've got a first and a second to table the 2013-14 budget on the table. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Spent a lot of time on 2013, 13, 14. I don't think that's all we're going to spend, though. Okay. All right. New business. Oh, one thing I'd like to mention under old business, I did take it upon myself to contact, Ms. Hudson had presented to us a situation that existed over in the Malinas area. As far as the addressing process in this county, it's 95% complete. Anybody that does not have a city-style address should contact the addressing people down at the communication center. Another thing on that was that he reiterated to me, which I knew from working for the post office, it's very critical after you get that address that the first person you contact is the telephone company. You need to give them the billing address as well as your physical address, because all calls that come through Frontier or whatever communication system you're on, that's where it comes through. So you need to notify them of that. So they say they've had it in the newspaper, and I think I have seen articles on that, but it's 95% complete. So we might pass that on as a committee, the people we talk to, and certainly maybe the news could help us out a little bit more. Any further news of business?
I need to ask you one question. I've got a neighborhood in box service at Greenwood. All right, my address is 53 Tan Road. But I still get my mail through the box service, which is Route 1, Box 1045. Now, why?
Your physical address would be your 53 Tan Road.
Yeah, but I still get my mail through this box up there.
Two different things. You've got a
Okay.
mailing address and you've got a physical address.
Okay,
Yeah, so when you contact the telephone company, your physical address is the 53 Tan Road,
Okay.
but your mailing address is still the Route 1 box, whatever.
And he knows what he's talking about.
okay, yeah, that's what I want to ask you.
There's two different things there.
Okay.
It's just like everybody that lives in Doddridge County doesn't get mail delivered from a Doddridge County post office. We've only got two left, I think.
Ours is our representative of Pittsburgh, yeah.
I'm very familiar with that one.
Yeah, every guy.
But the important part is the physical address when you contact the telephone company. You need to make sure they know your physical address. Because
Okay.
when they call an emergency in from that number, that physical address is what they're going to provide to Randy and his
We've
folks.
never been told that.
Okay,
Never heard that part.
That's why it's so important, and I think that's probably why we ran into the problem that we ran into over there in the Big Isaac area. And you know, if we can correct things, that's the way to do it. But the gentleman down there, Greg, who's over the gentleman over Ritchie and Doddridge County down there?
John Dodson.
John Dodson. Thank you. Thank you. And if you have any questions, but it'd be nice to have an article to that effect, because that physical address is very, very important since we're just going through 911 conversion.
okay, and they converted all these roads and stuff. Well, I was the chief at Greenwood after the first year. I didn't know these new roads. I knew the old roads, but I didn't know the new ones.
Well, the mapping people are supposed to provide the addresses, and they're also supposed to provide the notification to the State Department of Highways. And then
Yeah.
the Department of Highways, which the sign department in West Virginia, my understanding is way behind because of so many changes.
All right, now, if they called me out in the middle of the night, say 2 o'clock in the morning, and give me this new address, I have no idea where we're going. If they give me the old one, I know.
And that's just the change in the
And
process.
everybody else is doing the same thing. I mean, everybody else is doing the same thing.
We went through this in Lewis County in 1996, and it's not an easy process.
No.
Sorry.
You know, I think that's probably, would be a good project for each of your volunteer fire departments. Would be an education process, and maybe you could link the old name and the new name and have a list. But you know, we have to go with the E911 addresses. So it would seem to me that that would be something that would be beneficial for every fire department and every emergency responder. If nothing else, to work with the 911 center to get the lists of the old name and the new name, and if you want to prepare a list that has both, but that would be, in my opinion, a good idea. Now, one thing, your comment about that you got mail still at the Route 1, when they sent us, I'm talking me specifically, the information, and that was, and the New Milton Post Office was, I think, the first in the county that they renamed. And when they sent that to us, they indicated that they would still deliver mail if it was addressed to you at the new address or the old address.
Okay.
But they would deliver the old to the old address for 1 year.
Yeah.
I know from experience, it's been a couple of 3 years, and occasionally we still get, but I don't know, I know the postmaster knows us very well, so, now we've got the new postmaster, I don't know if that would happen or not, but.
Well, I get part of my mail at 53 Tan Road, and I get part of it at Route 1, Box 1045, which is a box up in Greenwood. So I still get it at both places.
Oh, you mean you've got
A box here.
a box at your house?
No, I haven't got no box at all at my house.
Okay.
There's that box here up there at the Forks of the River.
Those are the same.
Cluster boxes. And what they should do, and we can talk a little bit later about that, but
Okay.
what they should do, both of your addresses should be 53 Cannon Road, and they should do away with that Route 1 box.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I mean, you
That's
take a
how-
lot of problems.
That's how it's supposed to be.
But-
Not everybody does that.
Now, I still goes on these, and they roads, but they should have, I put that down somewhere, I should have some different name. Of course, they've only got one now, but unless we find out that somebody lives on the road, we have no where, I mean, we don't know where to go.
What you might want to do is contact the Division of Highways. I know we did this a lot at our job because we had home health patients. And getting instructions from someone that at points in time may not have been at their best state of mind to give you instructions. We contacted the Department of Highways probably monthly because there was all the time road changes. And as those roads go into effect and it goes into the Department of Highways somehow, they're all the time printing out new maps, and that is probably the most up to date. So that may be just a little mention that someone in the fire department, maybe monthly, wants to check with the Department of Highways about maybe receiving a new map. Now, I know with our agency, of course, we were nonprofit, they never charged us for those. I don't know if now maybe that's a chargeable fee, I'm not for sure, but it would be well worth looking into.
But if somebody's house is on fire, we haven't got time to look at the map.
I know.
I mean, I ain't gonna be.
Aren't they giving you directions?
But if, okay.
Aren't they giving you directions, and don't they have a GPS to the house right there?
But, here's the thing about it. The biggest part of the people from 911 is from Ritchie County. They don't know our county. They haven't got a clue where
There's supposed to be written directions right there by the mile,
I know,
right?
but, these addresses we get sometimes are out in the field. Okay, at least you got the point here.
Okay, I think we covered that, but everyone needs to get the physical address to the
Right.
telephone company, very important.
Right.
Okay, the next thing under new business is the appointing of the committee. We have two committees that I understand that we need to, according to the bylaws, that need to be appointed at this time, one being the audit committee. And this is what our bylaws and constitution says, the audit committee. There shall be established a standing committee referred to as the audit committee. The audit committee shall consist of the president, vice president, and the finance committee chairperson. The audit committee shall meet one time per year with the general purpose of reviewing the authority's compliance with any independent audit conducted of the authority and any other related issues pertaining to such compliance. So at this point, it would appear that the president would be on that committee, the vice president. And then the committee that we're going to appoint for the budget and finance will have to meet, and then whoever their chairperson is will serve on that committee as well. So, is there anyone else? This it doesn't limit us to those two, but is there anyone else that would want to serve on that audit committee? Okay, then the audit committee will stand the president, the vice president, and then the chairman from the budget and finance committee. Budget and Finance Committee, there shall be established a standing committee referred to as the Budget and Finance Committee. The Budget and Finance Committee shall consist of the President, Vice President, and Treasurer, and other members of the Board of Directors as President may wish to appoint. I think, and then it goes down the list of duties. So it clears the Vice President, the President, and the Treasurer. Anyone else want to volunteer for that committee?
I would like to be on that committee.
Okay, you're on it. That's that easy.
I'm a budget girl.
Okay.
No,
All
I
right.
don't want president or nothing, I just want to be on there with you guys.
Okay, and once that committee meets, then of course we need, whoever the chairman is of that committee needs to be, they'll also be part of the audit committee.
Point. I guess the chairman would probably need to be, some of that committee would need to be someone other than the president.
President, vice president, yes. Thank you.
Treasurer.
We'll
Because
see.
she knows all the figures.
All right. Commission request.
I think we probably, at least, as far as I'm concerned, we discussed those here.
Any questions of the committee to the commission? We thank both of you for being here with us tonight. 911 central reports.
He's been off and he had to process them. He's had some issues and stuff, so as soon as I get those reports, I will make them available to you guys.
Thank you. Any other new business? There's one thing that I would like to bring up. There is a request of us from the Doddridge County Wage and Hour Committee, and I think it was to the old committee, but we need to probably proceed with this. The ambulance authority needs to write a supplement to the handbook to cover issues that are exclusive to the AA and submitted to the Wage and Hour Committee for approval. So that's one thing that I think is important. They've asked us to do it. As your president, if we're asked to do something, I feel we need to take action to do it. It might not always be the right thing to do, but we need to take action. So we'll put that on for the agenda next week, and we'll gather some information. We'll maybe even have a committee.
I'd probably recommend getting with Brooke, the commission, and their handbook committee as far as wage and hour goes when the employees fall under their employee handbook at this point.
And when you say Brooke,
The prosecuting attorney.
Is this the problem where they get paid for holidays even when they're not working?
They don't get paid for holidays here if they're not working.
Okay. And that
The only problem we have with the holidays, and this is why I recommend to this board and past board to have a handbook committee so that we can review our handbook, and then the commission has to request a handbook committee from their handbook committee. And then we have to make our request that we want to be, the sheriff's department has their own division on certain things. The commission would have to approve us a subsection in there to relate to our employees. But both committees need to be put together, but the only way that the handbook committee from the commission can be called out is if the commission requests that they have a meeting to discuss that type of situation. But our board needs to put a committee together and decide what changes we would like to see in it and how we would like to process it, and then give that to their handbook committee and let them look at it, and then address the commission and see if the commission will approve the changes. It's a long process in order to change bylaws and SOPs when you're talking an employee that's paid by the county commission but governed by a separate agency. It's got to be intertwined, and that's why we need a handbook committee to go over that and process that through. But
yeah, I think putting it on the agenda for next month, we'll make sure we get that started because we do need to do this. Is there any other new business?
I think we have on there about, I put it on there because in the past, we've had a 911 employee on the board, and the reason why we had them on the board is to where if there's any misconceptions or confusion about the way the 911 system operates, or if we need a liaison between the 911 place and us, we had someone on the board that could do that. Ashley, I thought did okay, but I'm not sure how the commission feels with that, or if there's someone else they would like to recommend. But I think it would be nice, and it's up to the board, this is just, that's why I have it on there, is I would like to see if the board would like to recommend, obviously it's the commission's decision, but I would like to see if the board would like to recommend to the commission to have a member of the 911 employee down here on the board with us. Because when we have the questions about road dressings and responses and another issue, it's nice to have someone on the board to be able to reflect back to more information from.
I think it would be nice to have that person as a liaison, to perhaps be here to address questions, but not to make them a part of the board. That's my opinion.
Yeah, because if you put them on the board, that messes up our numbers.
Not only that, but is there conflicts?
Okay, I hear no motion.
Conflicts.
Okay.
How many are supposed to be on the board?
How many supposed to be on the board?
Yeah.
5 to
Between
15.
5 and 15.
Oh, wow.
5 and 15, I didn't remember that part.
You want to call, you don't have time there, you call.
If you can do it, that'd be fine. If not, I can call. If you just want to tell like this agenda for July. Is that an AM or PM meeting?
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you just want to tell, that's fine. That's what I got written down,
To
so.
that effect, then we would ask that someone be our liaison from the 911 center. And maybe we put them on the agenda to attend every other month or whatever. Any other new business? Not entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make every adjourn.
Gary first and Christine seconded. Thank you very much.